before everybody got seated, I just wanted to check and see if anybody has been to one of my gut health talks before. Just raise your hand. That kind of gives me an idea. So yes, I did know you both have been to one before. So you may have heard some of this info, but what I'm doing tonight that's different is I've invited a team from across the river, the Mandala Integrative Lifestyle team. So we have some speakers tonight, and many of you in the audience actually are familiar with this team and the program that I wanted to bring into my business because it really pairs perfectly with what I try and share with my clients. And so a lot of you are also my clients, and you are going to learn about some other things. My name is Stephanie, and I am the owner here of QC Colon Hydrotherapy. And this is my logo. This is my headshot. My hair is a different color. Everybody always says that, but basically, I always tell people before I start talking that I'm a certified colon hydrotherapist. I had to heal my body probably because I was eating things that I shouldn't have been eating for a very long time. So I had systemic inflammation, I had hormonal imbalances, I had mood swings, I had anxiety, I dealt with depression, I dealt with all of those things that can really just, when you are finally taking care of yourself and eating the things you're supposed to eat and detoxifying in a way that your body is supposed to detoxify, the symptoms can either disappear or greatly diminish. So I went through a lot of different natural healing modalities to take care of myself, and one of the things that I did during that time was colon hydrotherapy because it was a cleansing protocol that I discovered when I was doing research. And this building actually used to be a health and wellness spa. It was, I think, opened, I was an ad rep at the time, and I met the owner. And I'm pregnant, so like my breath support is a little different, so I'm going to be like taking deep breaths. So I'm sorry, I'm in my third trimester. I'm used to taking deep breaths when I speak, because I am also an actress, so I'm sorry if I take big breaths, I'm doing fine. But so Joan Fiamme had Realm Wellness Spa, and she was somebody I met when I was an ad rep, and I was on my health journey. And so she had a juice bar next door, she had 2 colon hydrotherapy machines, she had an infrared sauna, those are awesome by the way, and she had like a massage therapy room and an oxygen capsule. I mean, it was just like the works. And she was here for about 5 years or so, and then needed to transition and leave and started selling off parts of her business. And that's how I became a colon hydrotherapist, because I thought, I've gone on this health journey, and I've taken care of myself, and I feel so much better, and I know that this is how I'm going to live my life. And I'd studied Reiki, and I'd done Touch for Health kinesiology, and like I said, I'd done a lot of modalities. I'm not technically a certified dietitian or nutritionist, which is why I'm actually so glad that the Mandala team is here today, because they're certified in many different fields that I'm not. But what I'm going to talk about before we get started is just what colon hydrotherapy is, for those of you who aren't familiar, and how that gut health affects weight loss, which were some, hip words that we use to get you here. Gut health and weight loss. But at the end of the day, what's really happening, what really allows for us to shed pounds that we're holding on to, is cleansing on a cellular level. So we all go into, these weight loss. I mean, it's definitely been made more public that yo-yo dieting is really bad for you. It actually can really mess up your gut. It doesn't really help your metabolism. And at the end of the day, one of the reasons that you're holding on to these cells, whether they are excess fat or whether they're just toxins, is because you're not doing things in a way that are gradual and allowing your body to release. You're not creating a lifestyle. And so a lot of times when people come to me and they say, I want to lose weight, I want to feel better, I tell them I can help them get there, but it's a commitment that is more than just a week. It's more than just 3 weeks. And a lot of times you need to know that you have somebody supporting you, and you need to know what you should really be doing. So I like to talk when I go in, before I even discuss colon hydrotherapy and how it helps that process. So these toxins, this is what we want to get rid of, right? We want these toxins to, because we're going to be getting toxins in our bodies every day. That's just the world we live in. Whether we were living 1,000 years ago or today, there are toxins in the world. And this is how your body cleanses itself of them. So we use our blood, we use our lymph, we use our liver, our skin, our lungs, and our kidneys. And we also use the colon. I made that really big, as you can see. The colon is really special because it helps most of these eliminatory pathways finish the job. So your blood and your lymph and your liver are all dumping toxins out through the colon. I mean, the liver is kind of this big station where toxins get put and then processed and then left, and the liver gets rid of its toxins through the colon. So that's why, and so the skin and the lungs and the kidneys, obviously all very important. This is why with your skin, I wrote, you want to be using non-toxic products at home. Maybe you want to be doing skin brushing. Drinking water, I'm sure you've all heard, like drinking water helps flush through that tissue. I'm going to jump down because I said water. Kidneys, obviously, the kidneys are another way in which toxins can effectively leave the body. And good water is something that is kind of a whole nother picture. Like, Brita water filters just don't cut it. You have to really invest in a water filtration system so that you know that water that you're drinking is good. Bottled water, Powerade, these things just don't count. You really have to make sure that you're getting good water on a daily basis. And I'm not saying you can't drink a bottle every once in a while, but I'm just saying look at your sources and make sure you're getting flush, because that helps the colon too. Obviously, colon hydrotherapy involves water. And the lungs as well. Breathing, deep breathing, yoga can be helpful for this, cardiovascular work, and meditation. But with the colon, that's my focus, okay? So the purpose of colon hydrotherapy it has three purposes. I'm cleansing the colon, I'm toning the colon, and I'm hydrating the colon. Now, this is not something that exists in a vacuum, so I will go on to talk about how the whole digestive system is affected by this. But let's say, for instance, you were one of those people that were full of toxins. Imagine you are on the I-74 bridge in the summertime, and you're trying to get from Illinois to Iowa, and you have to sit there for like a half hour because traffic is really, really slow, because it's backed up, right? That's the situation that bridge was in this summer. That can be how the colon feels sometimes, right? When we get that toxic buildup, and it's not even necessarily the colon. Sometimes it's the liver. The liver is so backed up, or other eliminatory pathways are backed up. But the colon, when you cleanse, whether it's old matter, whether it's old mucosal membrane that's full of toxins, you're getting rid of those bad bacteria that are feeding those situations that are not benefiting you in the long run. And so it's like the bridge will be clear. So then when you are eating those good foods and when you are living your life like a normal human being, those toxins are leaving more efficiently. So that's why cleansing the colon with colon hydrotherapy is so beneficial. You get rid of so much more in a colon hydrotherapy session than you do on your regular, even if you are somebody who is a regular person. And that's just because the way we go, we just typically shed things. But with colon hydrotherapy, that water allows to break down more of it, and faster and more efficiently. Now, you can eat raw for 3 months and get the same effect if you want to. But if you don't want to go on a really seriously deep fasting diet, this can be an easy way to get rid of some of those bacteria, change that balance within, and get a reset. The toning portion, It's a very gentle fill, and it's not designed to hurt or be aggressive. It's designed to work with the way that your muscle works. And so for people who come to me and they are constipated, they leave and their body works more efficiently. So obviously it's because there's stuff that got out of the way, but your colon is getting an exercise. And it's a muscle. So muscles like to exercise. Like, we get told every day that we should go for a walk, or we should do yoga, or we should run or lift weights. Well, what are you doing for your colon? So that's one of the things that you get out of colon hydrotherapy. And then obviously we were talking about the importance of hydration. The system I have is a medically, it's like a medical grade device. So it's used by doctors, it's used in detox offices, and it's meant to be incredibly safe. So there's a 4-filter system and UV filtration system, so that water is super safe, but you're getting a great hydration when you get colon hydrotherapy done, which benefits your lymph, your blood, your kidneys, all of it, right? So it's not a cure, but it's a valuable means for maintenance or for like kick-starting that getting the body rid of toxins. So your benefits end up being improved digestion, because sometimes people get so backed up that they will literally have acid reflux, or they'll have a hard time digesting, they'll have bloating. So that will be easier, especially if somebody has IBS and constipation. Like I said, the muscle gets toned, it works more effectively. A lot of times when you're decreasing the toxicity in your body, which happens when you do colon hydrotherapy, you get more energy, concentration. Like I said, it jumpstarts the healthier lifestyle that we're going to be talking about. And it encourages the whole body to detox, which people don't realize. Like I said, when you're getting things moving, everything's moving. All the toxins are leaving. They're starting to leave. They're leaving more efficiently. And this is a good thing. Other benefits that it may include, which I've met many people and I myself have experienced. If you experience migraines, I have people who come to me just because I got rid of their migraines. It can help you improve your mood, because if you've ever gone to one of Dr. Shaw's talks, and he is giving one next week, your gut microbiome does affect how you feel mentally. It affects your hormones. And so I actually notice now when I start eating things that I shouldn't, I can tell, because I'm a little more on edge, and I'm not really as relaxed, and I'm not really as happy. So you do notice a change. And I always tell people this is not something to get reliant on. We'll talk about that in a second. But getting that stuff out means that you can start eating better. You can start that process of balancing your body on your own. So this is not, like, you can't just keep getting colon hydrotherapy to stay happy. But it can help you on that process of rehabilitating your digestive tract, okay? And then it'll clear up your skin. People, obviously, because we store those toxins, you may have, like I had, pelvic inflammation. Pelvic inflammation goes down. You might have back pain. There's not as much pressure. If your colon's not as full of toxic matter, you're not going to have as much pain and as much stress and tension, and just in your general system. So there are a lot of benefits that come with colon hydrotherapy. All right, so I don't know how much. I feel like I've talked a lot. So how do we get rid of the impurities I was talking about in addition to colon hydrotherapy? Chloe, are you going to be talking a lot about the dietary things?
We'll touch a little bit on.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell people basically what I inform them about when they come to see me. But you're going to see based on this why it's so nice to have somebody who really knows guiding you, or at least supporting you. So when you're really doing a nutritional cleanse, colon hydrotherapy gives you a great start. Helps you set a foundation, right, for getting the bad stuff out, putting the good stuff in. That's how it works. That's how the digestive system works, right? That's how everything works. So the things when people come in and they want to start a cleanse with me that I give them that are off limits effectively for 3 weeks if they can do it, because you will really benefit from doing a diet like without these things. And it looks like a low food map diet. It's also just a basic cleansing diet. No dairy, no wheat or gluten containing foods, no sugars, and by sugars I mean high fructose corn syrups, processed sugars. I do allow small amounts of cane sugars with people, but I'm like, you might as well just cut it out altogether if you can. I'm a pineapple lover. They're super sweet. I use honey. It has a much lower level of glucose reaction in the body. But overall, the sugar we consume most of the time is the kind that's not very nice to our pancreas and our overall digestive system, so avoiding that. Obviously, fried food, processed foods, processed animal proteins. And I do generally say red meats are better to cut out during the cleanse just because you don't have to do this for the rest of your life if you don't want to, but it just lightens the load. And coffee, soda, and alcohol. So those are the main things I tell people to cut out. And then after I tell them that, they're like, what can I eat? Which is pretty funny because we are so trained to think that our life depends on bread and cheese. But it doesn't. What can you eat? You can eat so many things. You can eat fresh fruits. You can eat fresh vegetables. You can eat cooked vegetables. I actually needed those. That's why if you want to try raw fooding, that's a process that I really try and coach somebody into because not everybody's system can handle raw food right away, especially not on a constant basis throughout the day, right? So I actually highly recommend smoothies or cooked vegetables so that you're getting those vegetables and those vitamins and minerals in a partially broken down way, and then you can work your system into more raw food. Softer vegetables too, like obviously spinach, cucumber, things like that aren't going to be as hard to break down. Whole grains. What do I mean by whole grains? I don't mean like Pepperidge Farm bread. I mean, yeah, which is what I grew up on, which is delicious, but I can't eat it anymore for whatever reason. I don't know, but now I can eat quinoa, I can eat brown rice, I can eat a lot of ancient grains, and just something that is whole, something that's not processed. Doing that really benefits your colon. Because we're thinking about you're eating something that's in paste form, basically, it's going to end up in paste form down here. So you want stuff that has some real fiber, some real substance that's going to help move those toxins through. Because you're still moving toxins through. And creating a new flora and fauna with all of this food. Beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, healthy oils. I've learned that mono unsaturated oils are the best, so that would be olive oil, coconut oil, avocado. Natural sweeteners, like I said before, honey, even stevia. Organic animal proteins. So if you are a red meat eater and you need to rebuild tissue, sometimes eating like a good grass-fed beef can give your body the amino acids it needs to rebuild things. I've seen people with Lyme disease. And one of the few things that they can eat is really good red meat because they need to rebuild tissue. So it's all dependent on your situation, but organic animal proteins can be safe and good during the cleanse. I tend to go lighter when I'm guiding someone through those first weeks during getting the gut cleansed, right? And then it might also include supplementation. A lot of times probiotics are recommended, vitamins, minerals, herbs. That's why I have these people here today. I am not yet in my life somebody who can give you a list of the things I know you will need and benefit from a nutritional standpoint. But if you're going to really go for it, like, treat yourself. Like, take care of yourself and get what you need so that you're getting exactly what you need. What minerals am I really deficient in? What are the symptoms that I have? Because all symptoms mean there are different things that you're deficient in. So I think this is my last slide, but basically, I'm like, look, it's so easy. There's less than 10 steps. No, just kidding. So how do you achieve a complete cellular cleanse? Well, I always tell people, start with a mini diet makeover, prevent caffeine withdrawal. So before you come to me, I usually book you out a little bit so that you have some time to prepare before you come in. Like, you're not eating like a steak dinner before you come in for your first colon hydro session. That's a bad choice. But I'll tell you what you can eat. If you want to do caffeine with, you can start graduating away from caffeine, finding a nutritional counselor and supplement company, Or I even have all these books on this table next to,
That I'm hiding.
no, yeah, I know, they were kind of hidden anyway. So like Dr. Mark Hyman is somebody who I've referenced before, the 10-day detox diet, the raw food detox diet. You can find a lot of different resources out there that also might just be good literature to read up on before you start something like this. And just know that, yeah, there's a lot of information out there. So just pick somebody who has a really good reputation, who you click with, and make sure you also have a person like the team that you're going to meet in a second here that can maybe give you advice that can be more personalized for you, depending on what you're going through and what you want to do. So drinking water is really great during a cleanse, as we've said. 8 pure filtered glasses of water. Booking massages can be nice to help the lymphatic tissue, using colon hydrotherapy, right? And knowing what not to cut out. So if you do have prescriptions that you need to keep taking, if there are vital things that you need to do, that's another thing that I do tell people. I make sure that, you know, I'm informing somebody to do something that's going to be unsafe for them. Because you fill out, you basically sit down and you have a consult with me before we start so I can know those things. But then it's nice to have other people on your team to help you. And then stay positive. Like, mood is, what do they say? It's, you know, it's a lot about perspective. It's about keeping perspective. And it is about surrounding yourself with people that support you. So, like, finding a team of people who support you, finding a group of people who are on this page who want to make changes. So you're surrounded by people like, there are lots of people who have somebody at home that just wants to eat a burger and fries, and that is totally fine if that's what they're doing on that day. It doesn't have to be what you're doing. But you have to find the people in your life who will help you make the quinoa and broccoli and salmon that you would like to eat that evening. Or, you know, so that you can feel really just confident in your choices. So I am offering anybody today who comes in to see me, like I usually do consultations if you're a first-time client. All of those fees will be waived if you book, and you can also just book a free consultation. I guess I didn't say that clearly. You can have a free consult with me, which you can just ask questions about colon hydrotherapy if you want to do it. And then usually I have an extra fee in the first session because I sit down and really do all that in-depth stuff, and I would waive that fee for anybody who set up sessions through this talk today. So that is my part of the presentation. So without any further ado, my special guests tonight are the Mandala Integrative Lifestyle team. I would love to invite you all to come up. In whichever way you would like, I will get out of your way so that you can kind of take the space over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know, everybody's going blind. It's so confusing.
Thanks, Steph.
You're so
Appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you.
Well, hello everybody. I love this talk, and I love that Stephanie hosted it because colon hydrocleansing is one of my favorite subjects, and pooping. I could talk about poop all day long because it really is important. But my name is Aaron Howard. I am the health coach at Mandala Integrative Medicine. I have standing with me Chloe Beard, who's also a health coach, and Ramesa Kwaja, who is our life coach for the program. And so, again, we want to talk about why we're here, the importance of keeping the colon cleansed. And Stephanie may have said this before I got here, but the average American carries 5 to 50 pounds of fecal impacted matter in their colon. And that's a lot. And when you are full of impacted matter, it's going to lead to other things. For example, think about your trash can in your kitchen. If you keep on throwing trash in it, it's going to overfill. And then once it is overfilling, it's going to potentiate other problems. Well, the same thing happens in your body. Once you're impacted, it's going to lead to other symptoms and lead to other symptoms and cause you more problems and health disasters later in your life. So we want to prevent that. So if you're not pooping every time after you eat, that should tell you something. You know, you should be pooping regularly. Every time you poop, or every time you eat, you should be pooping. Maybe not a lot, but something should be coming out, right? That means that the body is healthy and we're eating good stuff that's alive and giving us energy. So that's all I have for myself. Oh, my story. Okay. So I wasn't pooping a lot either. Oh, wow.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Please
I'm
No,
sorry.
it's seriously, I can talk about this because, it's dear to me. But as a collegiate athlete, I played at Iowa State University, and I was a football player, as outside linebacker. And, I went in as a freshman weighing 185 pounds. Well, I left at about 240. And, of course, it was because I was eating a lot of garbage stuff that wasn't good for me. And what happened as a result from that, I developed patella tendonitis in my knees. It was a condition where it debilitated me. I could hardly walk up and down a flight of stairs without feeling crippled. I was only 25 years old at the time, and I'm thinking, this can't be the life for me. And so I started researching things other than what my conventional doctor was telling me. And he was telling me, you're going to be on anti-inflammatories the rest of your life. And all you have, I can give you is ice and NSAIDs, which are going to tear up my gut and potentiate other problems. And so I told myself different. I said I was going to beat it, and I started to learn that what I was putting in my body affected my health and well-being. So I slowly started to eliminate things out of my diet that were producing inflammation and toxicity. And over a matter of time, the patella tendonitis in my knees went away, my back pain went away. I was able to not only walk up and down a flight of stairs, but sprint up and down a flight of stairs. I got back into playing basketball again and enjoying activities I wasn't able to enjoy. And it's just gotten better and better the more I live my lifestyle and keep putting good things in my body and staying away from the things that I know is going to cause those problems. And so that's what our lifestyle is all about. It's helping people get out of a place where they're not comfortable anymore, where they're upset. And it could be related to pain, it could be related to weight, it could be related to something emotional. And so those are the things in our lifestyle program that we tackle. And with that said, I'll give it to Chloe.
Yeah, my name's Chloe, and I'm one of the health coaches at Manila too. And my story starts a little bit when I was younger. I can remember growing up, I was sick a lot. I had bronchitis about every winter. I had asthma and allergies, grew up with kidney stones. And I'm glad we're in a place where it's comfortable to talk about poop, because I grew up thinking that diarrhea was normal. That's just the way that my body worked. I had all different kinds of digestive issues. And then in my 20s, it got worse. I was on a lot of antibiotics prescribed by a doctor that didn't warn me about the dangers of taking antibiotics long term. I had recurrent infections, and so I think that really damaged my gut. Anyway, about 2 years ago, my dad and my brother were diagnosed with celiac disease, and we started learning about gluten and how that was affecting our bodies. And I was having a lot of the same symptoms that they were. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go to a doctor. It wasn't Dr. Shaw because I didn't know him at the time. But I went to a GI doctor in Moline, and he sat down with me, barely made eye contact, didn't ask me anything about what I was eating. It was all about, family history, what are your symptoms? Okay, here's a prescription. Take this for 3 months and come back if you're not better. And it didn't sit right with me. I was like, I'm not going to take this medication. I started learning about functional medicine, and that really opened my eyes to, what I put in my body is going to affect everything. Food changes everything. Changes who you are in the world, changes how you feel, your relationships, everything. And so I learned through an elimination diet. It took me a year. Again, if you were to see Dr. Shaw, it wouldn't take you that long, probably, to figure out what was bothering you. But it took me over a year to figure out that I'm sensitive to all grains. And without grains, then I'm able to go without those symptoms. I also had skin issues on the back of my arms. Those have cleared up quite a bit. I don't have any of my stomach issues that I used to have. And so that's my story of how I started learning about functional medicine and healing my gut. And the reason I tell this story is just to not accept anything that you've had to deal with your whole life as normal, whether it's acid reflux or acne. Just because maybe your parents have had those issues, that doesn't mean that's something that you have to live with. It's not normal. IBS is not something that you have to live with. So, yeah, so now I would like to do a fun little quiz, if you guys are okay with that. Some of you have heard this before, so I apologize, but it's kind of fun, I think. So I'm going to ask you 8 questions, and you're going to see how many yeses you can give. Okay, so you don't have to raise your hand. Just keep track of how many times you answer the questions yes. Okay. And this is a longevity, or I'm sorry, an aging quiz. Longevity, according to the National Institute on Aging. So question number 1. Do you get at least 7.5 hours of sleep at least 5 days a week? 7.5 hours of sleep 5 days a week. Question 2. Do you get at least 3 to 4 servings of fruits and vegetables every day? Number 3. Have you been tobacco smoking free for the last 3 years? Number 4. If you have ever had sex with a stranger, did you practice safe sex every time?
Raise your hand.
Okay, number 5. Do you belong to a faith-based community where you show up at least 4 times a month? Number 6. Do you have 3 good friends that you actually like and can call on a bad day and they will actually care? Number 7. Can you write down in 1 sentence on a piece of paper your purpose in life or life meaning? Number 8. Do you get at least 30 minutes of physical activity in every day? No, it's just movement. It doesn't have to be sweating on the treadmill. Okay, so think about how many yeses you answered. Does everybody have their number? Okay, I'm going to read you, according to the National Institute on Aging, how long you are going to live. Okay, so if you got 3 or less, you can expect to live to age 76 with 5 bad years at the end of your life. If you got 4 to 6 yeses, you can expect to live to age 84, and only have 3 years of morbidity at the end of your life. If you got 7 or 8, did anybody get 7 or 8? Good. Wow. That's awesome. You can expect to live to age 90 with only 1 year of morbidity at the end.
Can't
So, yeah, that's. I thought that was kind of fun and interesting. But this study came from Dan Buettner, who's a National Geographic explorer, and he founded the Blue Zones. And the Blue Zones are areas in the world where people are living well into their hundreds. And they are not in a nursing home. They are out moving and living, and they're 110, 112 sometimes. And he compiled a list of what they are doing. And I just think this is really cool because then we can strive to be these people. So they move naturally. Okay? They don't necessarily go out and do an intense workout. They're just moving. They ride their bikes to work, or they go on walks with friends. They belong to a faith-based community. They get a lot of sleep, and they nap too. They have 2 glasses of wine usually a day, so that's good for a lot of us. When it comes to food, they cook their own food. They have their own gardens. They pre-plate their food, so they don't just sit down to the family feast. They pre-plate it and then they sit down. That's what they eat. They eat a big breakfast and then smaller meals throughout the day. They eat mostly a plant-based diet. They usually only eat meat about 4 times a month. What else? One of the biggest things that he found was the positive social network. So with your 3 friends, think about that question. Your 3 friends that you actually like, are they healthy people? Are they living a healthy lifestyle? If not, you are 100% more likely to have an unhealthy lifestyle because you're friends and your close community of people. So that's why I wanted to do this quiz, was to show that that's the biggest influence, is who we surround ourselves with. And that's why the lifestyle community that we have with our lifestyle program is so important, because we are like-minded people getting together with goals of improving our lives. And with the support of each other, we can reach our goals and be happy, healthy people that we want to be. We meet every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, and it starts with your vision and goals. It's all individualized, and we're trying to get you to where you need to be. So Vanessa, did you want to talk a little bit more? Would you like so? Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa Kawaja, and I'm the life coach of the program. So we touch a lot upon your individual journey. And something about myself, I grew up with a very sick mother with schizophrenia who was heavily medicated all through growing up. It was a very sad place to be at home, very depressing. And I would seek happiness. I wanted to be outside of the house as much as possible, so I would seek happiness from others. I moved to New York, I moved to LA, I moved wherever I could be to just get away from the sadness. And I tell you this because, there's huge emotional stressors involved. And a lot of times, it's not until you put the work into yourself that you're going to reap the rewards. And so I ran away and felt stuck. I was in a job, I was in the entertainment business for 10 plus years. And I just felt stuck and I wasn't fulfilled, and I just realized I was projecting my home life onto my friendships, my relationships, at work. And it wasn't until I came back home to my parents in Chicago and just really cut into some core issues, and just have those conversations. So in our program, we talk about community, we talk about like-mindedness, and it's kind of tapping into some of the heartaches at home, some of the scary stuff, but you have like-minded people, you have people to talk to. So we do these weekly lessons, and it's not just going to be about health. We're going to talk about accountability. What does it mean? So I'm kind of like the cracking the whip person of the program. And so when we do every Thursday and Sunday we have check-ins, and what that means is we want to make sure you're following your goals and you're hitting your visions and you're where you need to be. So it doesn't mean just turning in your check-in by a certain time. It's, have you paid attention to yourself this week? This is your time to sit down and focus on yourself. And okay, you had a little hiccup, cool. Let's meet on Wednesday, and how are we going to get back on track? So that's where I come into play. And I meet with you individually, we do coaching, and then we work on the lessons. So yeah, so that's kind of the gist of mine. So it's also, starting from within and realizing, and with food, a lot of times we push down feelings and emotions. And are we having those conversations with loved ones? Are we at work holding resentments, wanting to say certain things, but not having the oomph to say it or the courage to say it? So this is a safe space, everything's confidential where we in our groups, and so.
Yeah, this is why I brought you guys, because people come into my office and they want to have a life change, and I want them to have it, but you have to have like a support team. You have to have the wheels on the bus for them to go round and round. So this is part of that, right? To find out, and also that's what's so funny is people come in and they, like, I had a lot of issues, and I really did actually have to do Reiki and a lot of meditation in addition to the detoxing. That really was what helped me get the healing that I achieved, because inflammation is obviously physical, but it's totally created by our mental and emotional states. So I love that you guys embrace that as much as you do, because it's truly fundamental in that process of healing our bodies and ourselves, and then really just becoming our best version of ourselves. That's the best part of it. When you get better, and then you're like, I've never felt better, and then you're like, and I'll keep feeling better forever. It really does. That happened to me, and I was in a place where you would just not think that could have happened. So I'm very grateful. Yes.
And I wanted to give you some props, because I've had a QC Hydrotherapy cleanse,
Yes.
and Stephanie's very professional. It's amazing. I felt really good after I did it, and went on vacation afterwards and just had like the best time. So it was really good. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Anyway, thank you all for coming as well. And if you'd like to set up, we have, we're done a little bit early, so if people have questions, they can ask questions. If you want to just hook up with us personally and set up these consults, you can set up the consults. There's a little more food. But yes, thank you very much for coming and sharing this space with us tonight. It was so